Hello dear students, welcome back to the botany online class. So this is the continuation of our previous video. In that we have studied about the contrivances for self-pollination, which includes cleistogamy and homogamy condition. And under cross-pollination, the contrivances includes 5 types. They are decliny, dichogamy, self-sterility, heterostyle and hercogamy. So what do you mean by decliny? Decliny condition is also called as unisexuality. That means here the flower is unisexual. What do you mean by unisexual? So if the flower contains either male or the female reproductive organ, then it is called as unisexual. And if the unisexual flower contains the male reproductive organ, that means if the stamen is present, then the flower is called as staminate flower or male flower. And if that unisexual flower contains the female reproductive organ, that is pistil, then the flower is called as pistillate flower or female flower. Okay. Now, if these male and female flowers are born on the same plant, that means they are produced on the same plant, then the plant is called as monoecious. Once again I'll repeat. If the male and the female flowers are produced on the same plant, then the plant is called as monoecious. If these flowers are born on the different plants, then the plant is called as dioecious. And for monoecious plant, examples are cucumber and maize. So where you can observe two different flowers, but these flowers are born on the same plant. And for dioecious, example is papaya, right? Now coming to the third type of contrivance for cross-pollination is self-sterility. And this self-sterility condition is also called as self-incompatibility, which means the pollen grains of one flower cannot fertilize the ovule of the same flower. Once again I'll repeat. Self-sterility or self-incompatibility means the pollen grains of one flower, it cannot fertilize the ovule of the same flower. Okay. So when pollen grain of an anther do not germinate on the stigma of the same flower, then such flower is called as self-sterile or incompatible. And the condition of the flower is called as self-sterility or intraspecific incompatibility or self-incompatibility. And in these flowers, cross-pollination is the only means for fertilization and production of seeds. Okay, in this slide, this is the figure of the self-incompatibility in relation to its genotype in tobacco plant. What do you mean by self-incompatibility? It means the pollen grains of one flower, it cannot fertilize the ovule of the same flower, right? So, in flower, it contains two sex organs, right? The female sex organ and the male sex organ. The male sex organ is called as stamen and the female sex organ is called as pistil. Clear? Now, from the male sex organ, that is from the stamen, pollen grains are produced, right? And from the female sex organ, that is from the pistil, ovule is produced. Am I clear? Now, so according to this condition, self-incompatibility, what happens is, see in the picture 1, Now this is the pistil part. This is the pistil part of the flower, and this pistil at the tip, it contains the stigma portion. So this is the stigma. Am I clear? Now what happens is, this pistil, it is of S1 and S2 type. Clear? The flower is here S1 and S2 type. Okay. So the pistil is here S1 and S2 type. Now this pistil, if it receives the pollen grains from the different flowers, that means from the different types of pollen grains are received by the pistil of S1 and S2 type, then this pistil, it will accept the pollen grains and it allows the pollen grains to germinate on its surface. Am I clear? See, you can see here the pistil is of S1 and S2 type, but the pollen grains are of different types, S3 and S4 type. Clear? And if these pollen grains are accepted by the pistil of the S1 and S2 type, it allows this pistil allows the pollen grains to form the germ tube. Am I clear? Because here the pollen grains as well as the pistils are of different types. Okay, but in the picture 2, so here also the pistil is S1 and S2 type, but it receives the pollen grains, and the type of pollen grains are S3 type and S1 type. See, here S3 type of pollen grain, it comes from the different flower. Am I clear? Okay. But the S1 type of pollen grain, it comes from the same flower. Right? So what happens here? Now this S1, S2 type of pistil, it will accept the S3 type of pollen grain and it allows the pollen grains to form the germ tube. Whereas it rejects the S1 type of pollen grain because this pollen grain, it comes from the same flower. Okay. So in picture 3rd also, you can observe that this S1, S2 type of pistil, it receives the pollen grains and the pollen grains are of S2 and S1 type. That means these pollen grains are come from the same flower. Okay, so that what happens here, the pistil, it will rejects the pollen grains, and this condition is called as incompatibility. Is that clear? Okay. So moving on to the next contrivance, that is heterostyle. So the plants of some species in which flowers are dimorphic. What do you mean by dimorphic flower? Dimorphic means it contains different kinds of flowers. Thus, it facilitates cross-pollination. In dimorphic flower, some of the flower possess long style and short stamens, and such flower is called as pin-eyed flower. What do you mean by pin-eyed flower? This pin-eyed flower contains long style, but the stamens are short here. But the other group of flowers contain short style and long stamens, and they are referred as thumb-eyed. Okay, so in some species there are two types of flowers, pin-eyed flowers and thumb-eyed flowers. Pin-eyed flower means it contains long style and short stamens, whereas thumb-eyed flower contains short style and long stamens. So you can observe here, this is the long styled flower, which is also called as pin-eyed flower, where the stamens are short, and this is the short styled flower, which is also called as thumb-eyed, where the stamens are long. and these are about the heterostylous condition. Moving on to the last type of contrivance, that is hercogamy. In some bisexual flowers, where the stigma and anthers mature at the same time, self-pollination is avoided by some sort of barrier. Once again, I'll repeat. In some bisexual flowers, where the stigma and the anthers mature at the same time, self-pollination is avoided by some sort of barrier. And the flowers show following contrivances here. The male and the female sex organs lie at some distance from each other. And in some flowers, corolla has peculiar forms which act as barrier in self-pollination. In some other flowers, the pollens are held together to form the pollinia, which can only be carried away by the insects. And examples for hercogamy conditions: Gloriosa, Calotropis, and orchids. So in Calotropis, here the pollens are held together to form the pollinia, and these pollinia are carried away by the insects. Okay. Whereas in Gloriosa, you can see, so here this is the picture of Gloriosa flower, where it contains the stamens. These are the stamens, and this is the pistil portion, and these two sex organs, the stamens and the pistils lie at some distance from each other, so that here self-pollination is avoided and cross-pollination is encouraged. So these are about the contrivances for cross-pollination. So hope you all understood the class. Thank you so much.